Hello and happy Tuesday. Welcome back to English. You will be picking up where you left off yesterday, so you are all ready to present tomorrow. Having a good day so far to be with you, but I'm learning some things about learning today. So you're due now. Let me tell you a little bit about it, and then you can pause me and go ahead and do it. Or if you have already did it, you can skip ahead a minute or two. Alright, so you go to the Canvas discussion. I have a text message between a mother and I assume that it's her daughter, but I don't know. Alright, so mom says, "Your great aunt just passed away, LOL." The daughter says, "Why is that funny?" Mom says, "Oh, David," her son. "Anyway, it's not funny, David. What do you mean?" David says, "Mom, LOL means laughing out loud." Mom says, "Oh my goodness, I sent that to everyone. I thought it meant lots of love. I have to call everyone back. Oh God." Alright, so you are going to post a reply to that. You have two bars here at the bottom. The first one, this is confusing to people, is if you're going to search the discussion for a specific word or person. We're not searching right now. You actually are replying. You're posting your thoughts. So you hit reply, and then this whole text box appears with lots of options. Alright, so I want you to post a reply answering two different questions. So number one, I want you to tell me what is explicitly stated in the text. Explicitly, that means that it's right there. You can quote it word for word. What's explicit in the text regarding the mother's knowledge of technology. Versus number two, what is implicit? It's implied. It's not listed straight out, but you can figure it out. So what's implied about the mother's knowledge of technology? So number one, what is explicit about the mom's knowledge of technology? And number two, therefore, based on that, what is implied about her knowledge? So go ahead and answer those two questions. Post a reply. When you are done, you'll see other people's replies on here. You're welcome to comment on someone else if you agree or disagree with them. So that is your due now. Alright, so pause and go ahead and do that right now. If you have already done that, we can skip on ahead. Alright, once you've done your due now, you are ready to move on to the next thing. Hold on. Okay, sorry, I wanted to rearrange some things. Alright, so after the due now, I want you to work on your 7 Habits presentation a little bit more. So you should already have the Google slide. You should have already started that yesterday. Maybe you even finished it yesterday, so you just need to check it over. So step 1, I want you to make sure that your presentation is visually clear. So we can read everything on it. It all makes sense. You have pictures. So make sure that all of the slides, not just your own, the entire presentation, uses bullet points, not paragraphs, of the main ideas, not entire sentences, just short phrases, reminders. Check your font. It should be large enough to read. 20 is a good size that I recommend, that we can all read along. And please proofread. You will lose points for spelling and grammar mistakes. Then check your pictures. You need at least 3 to get full credit, but 1 on every slide is pretty good too. Make sure that they match what you're talking about. They make sense. They are appropriate to what you're talking about. They're interesting. They have a good resolution, so it's not really pixely and hard to see. They don't cover up your text or make it hard for us to read your text. Alright, so pause if you need to do that. That is what I want you to check on first. Okay, make sure your presentation is visually clear right now. Oh, and by the way, if you haven't moved to sit with your group, you can go ahead and move and sit with your group. Okay, once you have done that, I want you to make sure that your presentation is meaningfully clear. It has meaning. It makes sense. Okay, so you're not using any 7 Habits jargon. That's words that are specific to mostly a profession, but in this case, the book. So you can get rid of anything that doesn't make sense to us that you would need to explain, or else if you think it's important to keep in, then you are going to clearly explain it so we can follow along. You're just summarizing the main points. Make sure that you have at least one exact quote. You are quoting word for word from Sean Covey, or if you want to quote Sean Covey quoting someone else because he quotes a lot of other people, that's fine too. Just say like, according to Oprah Winfrey, as quoted by Sean Covey on page 19. So you must have the page number. Must. Alright, so at this point in time, I want you to go through your presentation and make sure it all makes sense. It's clear, it's in a good chronological order, that every concept builds on the concept before, that at the end, the rest of the class will understand what the habit is and how to do it and why it's important. So go ahead and pause and go through your presentation and make sure it all makes sense. Okay, once you've done that, finally, your presentation should be audible. So this is the actual presentation part. So let me open up to the project. Okay, we already talked about grading the presentation itself. The second half of this grade, the second 20 points, is you presenting. So I will grade you on the spot. Alright, so I'm grading that you actually present. So if you don't present, you can't get these points. So you need to actually present. Make sure that you are explaining everything clearly. You don't need to use specific wording from the text. You're saying it in your own words, summarizing. You should be between 3 and 8 minutes. Explain yourself clearly in your own words. And you're not just reading off the slides, you have eye contact with the audience. So you don't need to memorize everything. You're welcome to look at the slide. You're welcome to print off what you want to say. You could read things out of the book. You could make note cards today if you would like to make note cards. I'll leave some out for the sub. But at some of the time you are looking at the audience. So what I suggest you do is look at the slide to remind you what you have to talk about, and then once you know what it is, then you can look at the class and tell us what it means. You can give us examples, stuff like that. So that is what I suggest. Okay, so at this point in time, now that your presentation is all visually and meaningfully clear, you need to work on how you're going to say it. So go ahead and practice your presentation with your partner, figure out who's going to say what on which slide, including how you're going to ask the discussion questions. So who's going to ask them? Maybe figure out how you're going to call on people. Are you going to use My Popsicle Sticks? Are you going to ask for volunteers? Will you have them talk to a partner before sharing out? So think through that stuff and work on what you'll say and how you'll say it without reading off the slides. Okay, so go ahead and pause while you do that. Just one more thing left for class today. But right now, go ahead and pause and work on presenting. All right, once you've done that, today is a Tuesday, and typically on Tuesdays we work with the keystone words a little bit. So for the last 5 or 10 minutes of class, I want you to work on those. So you can play the Quizlet games for the keystone words. You also may want to use this time to put the definitions in your notes. If you're using my Google Doc notes, I gave you the words but not the definition, so you may want to put those in now. To explain what the author's purpose is. Remember the 3 purposes: inform, persuade, or entertain. What a generalization is, something that is literal. It means it's just word for word. And then some other things that we've already kind of talked about. Alright, so you can play Quizlet game, And then I also have an author's purpose battleship game you may want to play to review author's purpose here at the end of class. So you have to allow flash. Oop. Okay, so to play this, what do? You say where you want to shoot it. They missed. Okay, so when you get a hit, you have to just give the right answer. So that's how you play Battleship. Alright, that is mostly what I want to tell you, so go ahead and review your keystone words for this week. Tonight, if you need to look over your presentation, please do that, so tomorrow you are ready to present right away. Again, you can email me with any questions. Have fun, sit with your group, do what you need to do. Have a good day. See you guys tomorrow.